All right, Caroline.
Instagram looks like Where's Waldo with Caroline.
There she is. Hello. It is 8 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock where we are, and we are live. So say hello when you pop in so we'll know you're there. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Emma. Are you home? Pop in and tell us hello. There's Maggie and Kendall.
Emma's probably still on a bus or something.
No, she was supposed to be home by now, I think.
Bus?
So, anyway, what's up?
She's been to
Who is that?
Dollywood for those who are watching along.
Who is GTW? I'm getting old and I can't see your picture. Oh, 10 minutes, Emma said.
I can't see it. It's too little.
I know.
10 minutes, they'll be home.
That's right.
Grandma
Hello.
and Grandpa are watching.
Hello.
Hello, Jimmy and Barnes crew. Oh, Taylor Wood. Hey, Taylor Wood.
Taylor!
That would explain what up, homies. I was like,
What
I
up,
can't see
homie?
the picture. Anyway.
You're expecting a big G for the Georgia dog.
Yes. Our weather is better than yours, Sandra. Our weather is absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Hey, Mr. Jimmy.
So we're taking credit for bringing wonderful, beautiful weather to Salt Lake. They have not had that in quite some time.
We can't take credit for the beautiful views that we have of snow-capped mountains every time we drive anywhere around here. It is amazing.
Taylor. And yes, Stevie, he did get a haircut. You noticed.
All trimmed up yesterday morning.
He went yesterday morning. Now, if only I could. But I'm holding out.
Mama, this is low.
Yeah, leave it. Anyway, hey, Jana. So anyway, happy Sunday. We are in Salt Lake City. We are staying in a different place than we did last time. And like we said, enjoying some beautiful weather. Have all the RVs pulled in back here. Can you see the mountains? Oh.
The sun is too bright.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I think it's too bright.
Pull it back down. It's too bright.
We'll pull it back down.
Too much backlight. Just
Yep.
trust us.
Trust us, the snow-capped mountains are right back there.
really-
Go find a screensaver of snow-capped mountains, and that's what we're looking at out that window.
Yes, it really is beautiful out here. If you've never been to Salt Lake, so Salt Lake sits in a kind of a bowl almost. Is that the best way to
Valley.
describe it? In a valley, yes, but it's almost like a bowl. There's almost a 360 view of snow-capped mountains, and it is just beautiful. So we're hoping to have an afternoon or sometime, or I'm hoping to have an afternoon this week that we can ride up one of the mountains to one of the ski resorts just to see. From what we've heard, there are some staying open all the way through Memorial Day.
And trust me, I looked. I thought maybe they're having spring sales where it would be inexpensive to go skiing. No such luck.
Yes, we would love that. It's been a long time since Kevin and I have snow skied. We both loved snow skiing. It has been like way pre-kids since we snow skied. My body would hate me if I snow skied right now.
Yeah, we'd have to do like a 3-hour afternoon session or something. But
Yes, my
it's still
knees.
expensive. But it's interesting. There is one of the resorts at least that's staying open to Memorial Day. So,
Yeah,
I mean, still another month away. And
it's crazy.
but they said there'll be snow well into June, July, most likely in some of the
Yeah.
passes. So,
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. So it's beautiful up here. Been in the sun lately. We have been in the sun. So last week we got in the sun quite a bit. That's what Jimmy asked. So we'll recap our week, and then that'll explain that question.
Yeah, so we came to you last week.
Last Sunday from
We were in Page, Arizona, and we came to you. We were outside. Beautiful view that day, too, of the much different hills and mountains around there. Orange rocks, and we had just been kayaking the day before.
Yep.
And so that was last week. And so we had a few more days in Page before we made our way a little bit north. But this past week was pretty much an off week. We did some computer work, some catching up on just office things. But for the most part, we were trying to just take a week off. It had been a busy first month. And so we were taking some time just to do some fun things as we made our way from Phoenix up to Salt Lake.
Yep.
So
yeah, we told you about kayaking, so we got to do that. We kayaked the Colorado River through Horseshoe Bend. It was amazing, super cool views. Very difficult, or I shouldn't say very difficult. Our most strenuous paddle to date, but lots of fun. So we did that on Saturday, and then we ended up getting to go on Tuesday and see Antelope Canyon. Which, if you've never heard of Antelope Canyon, they're all across Utah and this area of the country. There are slot canyons, is what they call them, and they're basically, we literally just
holes in the ground.
We literally just walked into the ground. Yeah. Like if I showed you a picture of where we came out of this canyon and then showed you a picture of what was up underneath that we walked through, you'd be astounded. And so these slot canyons are where the rock formations have come together. They're usually narrow passageways, but just absolutely beautiful and amazing formations. Just amazing to think about. You're standing down in there, and I said, can you imagine being the person who found this? And anyway, so we got to do that on Tuesday. It's on Navajo land, and so that's a guided tour. You can't go down there without a guide, but it ended up being worth it. It was really cool. The pictures that they took, the time they took explaining things, and it was just a really neat experience. We got to do that on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we moved.
Yeah, and it was very interesting because we started out talking about it, and the girls were like, nah, I don't know that I want to do that. And so Casey and I were like, okay, we'll just go the two of us. And so we were like, all right, we're going. Do any of you want to go? And slowly it was like, yeah, I think I do want to go. And then the next one, yeah, I don't want to miss out. And all of us ended up going, and everyone was so glad that they decided to go. It was a very easy, not a strenuous walk, really. There were some stairs that you had to go down, but that was about it. So it was great. We had a wonderful time. We left Page on Wednesday and started making our way north and west a little bit, and we stayed just outside of Zion National Park. So we were in Virgin, Utah.
Yes, so Zion is a place we've wanted to go back since our 2020 trip. And so we had planned that in. We didn't get to do exactly what we wanted to do in Zion this time, and so we'll have to go back eventually. But Zion's a really cool national park with some neat things. It's the Virgin River, right?
Yep.
That comes right through Zion. And Caroline's making macaroni and cheese for dinner.
So I'm trying to guide. No, you can leave it on high.
You can leave it on high. Set a timer for your noodles, though. Okay. So anyway, the Virgin River flows through there. We had hoped to be able to go back and hike a hike that we did in 2020 on our RV trip called the Narrows. So it's basically where you go down into the canyon, into the river, and hike through the river. Currently, that is not an option. And so
saw why.
Yeah, just to give you a quick idea. So what we read was that in order for that hike to be available for you to be able to do it, then the water has to be flowing at 150 cubic feet per second or less for 2 days in a row. With all of the snow that this area of the country has had, that is probably not going to happen for quite some time because the snow melt is very evident everywhere. And so the day we were there, it was flowing at... We had
read and heard online that it was running at about 600. So we're like, there's a chance it'll get down. When we got there, the sign said it was running at 1,360
cubic feet per second.
Which that measurement means nothing, but you can imagine that's several times what it needed to be to be able to.
Yeah.
And so that was not an option. But when you think of Zion, Zion is kind of the opposite of the Grand Canyon. Most everybody sees the Grand Canyon from the rim of the canyon. Zion, you pretty much see it from the floor of the canyon, unless you hike up. The Grand Canyon, you see it from the rim unless you hike down. And so...
completely different perspective.
Spectacular views, really cool. A couple of the girls went with Casey and I, and we did a couple of hikes there.
We did 2 different
in the
hikes
park.
In the sun. So that's where
the sun came from.
We're circling
Starting
back around.
Not to look so pale.
Yes, so we spent about 4 hours probably in the park and did a couple hikes, and it was a lot of fun. So we got to do that. See Zion, not exactly how we had planned, but nonetheless. Yeah. So we did that. Spent 2 nights at Zion, Wednesday night and Thursday night. Went to the park on Thursday, and then on Friday we moved up here to Salt Lake City. And we stay here in Salt Lake City for about 10 days, so we're going to stay planted for a little while. We have quite a few things, a lot of different things happening this week, not typical things happening every week. So today we got to go to church, to Hope Valley Church.
You skipped yesterday.
What about yesterday? Dinner? I was going to, okay, go ahead. I was going to kind of loop back. This morning we went to Hope Valley Church. So last year when we were here, we met Dustin and Sarah Stottman, who moved from Oklahoma to plant Hope Valley Church here in Salt Lake City. And so we got to hang out with them last night. They have 2 girls that are the same age as Caitlin and Caroline, which is fun. We got to spend some time with them, have dinner, yummy pizza, just hang out. And then got to go to church with them this morning.
Not just yummy pizza. They introduced us to a place called, I don't even remember. Flake. Doesn't sound great, does it? Well, they have little mini pies. So it's a little dessert place, and they have individual serving pies. Well, off to the left side of the menu it says, make any pie a shake. And they take your shake and they dump it in
your pie. You pick a pie.
Yeah, you take your pie, they drop it in the blender with some soft serve ice cream, blend it up, and it made the most amazing shake.
Yeah, it was a very interesting place. Like, we've never been any.
And this is,
like it.
You probably have noticed if you've been following along that this is a trend. Most of our planter meals, when we go out with planters, they end up with some kind of yummy dessert.
And I mean, we laugh and kind of giggle because the girls often remember people by what dessert we have with them. But it's one of the biggest joys, I think, for us when we get to meet a whole family. Typically, these planters and their families are just like us. They never splurge for desserts. They never go and do something like that because that's just an extra expense. And so for us to get to extend our time with them and get to treat them that way ends up being such a big blessing. And I know that's just a little thing, but it's just something that...
And many times it also, over dinner, kind of everyone's getting comfortable with each other, especially the kids are kind of feeling each other out, getting to know one another. And by dessert, everybody's really having a good time. And we have a good time the whole time, but...
but it just ends up being really special. It's it's just dessert, but at the same time, it's so much more than that often, and part of what creates the memory and kind of links us together. And so it's so fun. We we had been out here in July, so we had met Dustin and Sarah one other time, been to church with them, but spent 3 hours last night. Like we had known them our whole lives, just catching up, hearing about life, hearing about church, hearing about. Just the neat things, in this area of the country too. I'm always quite burdened for the planters and the missionaries here in this area of the country, especially once we get here, because I just feel the burden of the culture that they come to here. Here, the Mormon culture literally permeates everything. Schools, news, what's open on Sundays.
Just empty parking lots. We went today to... Costco was not empty, but we passed many strip centers on the way.
Yeah, like strip malls, with lots of different types of businesses. That
were all closed. And it was one of those things. I was sadly impressed by it. And I made the comment to Casey, I said, what if the real church could have the same impact on their community? It's obviously... tailoring everything to that culture of that church. And, what if we could have that same impact on culture in all of our communities?
It's just a very, very, very interesting, it's hard to describe the culture and the atmosphere here as believers. And it's just slow work for them. And we were reminded of that just in hearing some of Dustin and Sarah's stories and just the fruit that they've seen. It's not things that have happened, over the last,
Matthew is planning way far ahead compared to me. He's looking forward to Salt Lake City in 2027.
There you go.
Southern Baptist Convention evidently will be here in 2027.
Oh, we'll have to plan for that too, Matt.
So... I'm looking forward to next year. It's in Indianapolis, so
Oh yeah. So anyway, slow workout here, but such a need for the gospel.
Yep.
So anyway, it was neat to just hang out with them again. We're gonna get to see them some more this week. Like I said, we've got several interesting things happening this week.
Yeah. So I was in connection with the Sin City missionary prior to getting here, and he is not going to be here and available, but he had his assistant send out a message, and I'm able to get together a group of planters on Tuesday morning. We're going to get to go play Top Golf, and I'm going to get to have lunch with them, and so I'm looking forward to getting to meet a group of planters. And then Casey has a unique opportunity at the end of the week that we're really excited for her to be able to take part in with the
so the North American
Planter
Mission
Wives.
Board has a spouse retreat here this weekend, so where they invite all of the planter wives, and so they were super kind and gracious to ask if I wanted to jump in on that and help love on these planter wives here in this area. And so I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to that. And then we could never have planned this to work out. We could have never planned it, but it just so happened the Lord planned it. Where we are here this week or this coming weekend at the same time as our one of our older nieces' graduations from college. So Kevin's mom and dad, his sister and brother-in-law, and all three of the nieces are all going to be in Salt Lake for graduation this next weekend. So we are all going to be together.
And we put it on our schedule not knowing. And
we had no idea.
So we got here Friday. My parents are going to be here Monday night, and then they're going up north for a couple nights and then coming back. And then I think my sister gets here on Wednesday or Thursday.
Later in the week.
So
just
neat
so
opportunity
cool the
to
way
be able
that
to
it all
connect
worked
with
out.
family as well.
Yeah. So we get to at least have a meal together.
And then
and see all of them.
A connection from our church in Tifton, Northside, a connection with one of the kids that grew up in the church and is now serving in the Air Force out here. And so we're going to get to connect with them and have dinner one evening.
Yep.
So we're excited about that as well.
Yep. So anyway, it's going to be a busy week and a good week, and we're excited. It's back to school, no more play for us. It's back to school, so that we can try to finish, and the girls and I try to finish school over the next few weeks to give us a little bit of a summer break. So anyway, I think that pretty much covers it. As usual, if you have any questions for us, we love to field questions and answer your questions. So drop them in the comments or send us a message so that we can answer them. Make sure you like and share the videos because that helps get the word out for our weekly recaps.
And let us know if you're watching it on a replay.
Yep.
I know we have a lot of people that catch this later, and so we appreciate y'all watching as well.
Yep. All right. Well, have a great week, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye.